Okay, so I want to start drawing the second conference room, and it's a very simple plan except for the copying of the chairs, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and reuse the chairs that I made previously rather than drawing some new chairs. And if you've saved them in your template, they'll be there ready to go. So I'm going to make a new file using the template I've already saved, and then just get this so I can see both things on the screen at the same time. So basically just got a 4 metre by 6 metre rectangle there. So a good approach whenever you start drawing anything in AutoCAD is to draw the rough size first before worrying about zooming or anything like that. So I'm going to draw a line starting from a point near the origin on the left there, and making sure pole is turned on, come up 4.5 metres. Luckily I can see the whole thing there, but if that goes off the screen you can just double click with the wheel to do a zoom to fit. So I'll draw another line coming across then 6 metres, and that's a pretty standard approach in AutoCAD, just drawing a basic right angle to establish those basic dimensions. To draw the arc, you could just use well, there's a few options you could use here, but I think start and radius is probably the easiest. So to use that option you just need to think about the direction of the arc, and realise that they're drawn anti-clockwise by default. So if I click on the right hand side there, that's my start point. I want it to go anti-clockwise, remember, so starting there I can come anti-clockwise around, and so the end point will be on the opposite side, and now I should just be able to type in my radius, which we know is 3000, and it should go the right direction. So now I could offset each of those lines separately, or just to show you a little trick, use edit polyline and select any one of those shapes, and it'll tell me it's not a polyline, ask if I want to turn it into one. Y in brackets means I can press enter to say yes, and then join. I'll choose from the menu there and just choose all of those, which means I can then offset 100 mil in one step. And so then from there we've got a return, which is 100 mil from the corner. Again, you can use the method they show you in the notes using the from option, which you get by holding down shift and then right clicking to choose from, or you can type in from on the command line, same thing. But another maybe slightly trickier way but less clicking is to just hover and move to the left from that point, type in 100, and it should snap that way with object tracking. Yeah, object snap tracking, but that should be turned on anyway. So it's well, it's not, the button's turned off, but it's down here if it's on. Oh, so it is on. So that one there shows snapping reference lines, they call it now, but you can see in grey object snap tracking. And so then we'll offset 900. So it's just a standard door. Trim that back, and then you can insert the door that you used earlier, or if it's saved in your template, you'll already have it in the list there. That makes things nice and easy. And then, if anyone knows off the top of their head the size of that polygon, they can tell me. Otherwise, I'll just look it up. That's all right. Did it tell you? Oh, here we go, 1500. Alright, that's all we need to know for that. So with the polygon tool, another good trick is to firstly give the number of sides and then hover over the midpoint there to get the centre, and really anywhere in line. If you want to, you could centre it on that arc. I think that's basically where it's positioned. And then inscribed and 1500 for the radius. Should be on the furniture layer. I'm sure you can work most of this out anyway. Then I have the chair already made because I've saved it in my template. So there's my chair. So I'll just insert that a distance from the table. You can position it exactly if you really want to, but again, think about the way furniture is in the real world. People don't measure where they put chairs around the table, they just place them so they look good. So normally don't need to measure things like that. And then maybe that could be, oh, we're going to offset this anyway, so I'll offset, I think it's 50. Something like that. It doesn't really matter about the exact dimensions, maybe it's 80. Don't really care. Then furniture isn't usually going to be designed by you either. You'll specify it from a catalogue generally. And so then array is the one I really wanted to show you. So on the modify panel you can choose array and then polar array. And you did this before with the table and chairs in the geometry exercise. Got to give the centre point. And again, just by hovering over these tracking points, you can snap to the centre of the polygon. And then the only thing you should need to change is the number, and you'll find that up here with count. You can change to 8, and it's done. So aside from that, you have the trees or the plants, indoor plants, whatever they are. And so that is in the week 6 folder. I'll put a copy into the week 9 folder for you as well, just in case you have trouble finding it. And does it give you a scale factor in the notes? That's one thing I didn't look for. Has anyone just done that one? Oh yes, scale factor 0.5. So if you're like me and you've just inserted it without thinking too much, you can always select it, right click, go to properties, and then change the scale X and Y to 0.5. Don't worry about scale Z, we're not looking at it in 3D. So now you can see it's the right size, and that shows you how to scale blocks, so that's a good thing. And then it can just be copied instead of inserting it again, because if I insert it again I'll have to scale it again, but just copying it a few times, and that drawing's done. Again, I can insert the drawing label for the title. Should be in the list here. Oh, there it is. So plan subtitle, scale 1 to 50, drawing number 01 will do, and reference 1. Oh, they're not even giving a reference, but I'll probably might put that onto a different layer. So that's ready to go on the page, and because it was saved in my template, and I can double click on the title block to change the details. So conference sorry, I've got to get new glasses. Conference room plan will do. And so here you can just click on each of those fields to change the details. And so that's exercise 4.
And you've got this window up by just double clicking on the block.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why just here, any part of it, double click and that'll come up. That easy. So if you spend a bit of time on your template, it's going to save you a lot of time with these later exercises. And then now I can come back and add in dimensions, because again that's already set up from before. So I'll just change to my dimension layer, and I can draw the radius dimension for the wall there. And then, yeah, if you want to make the styles a bit different to what's shown here, I don't like the way they have a line coming from the centre. I don't think it needs to be like that. You can always do it like this and it's much cleaner. So that's fine if you want to do it differently. Again, the dimension style length as well, I've done a bit differently. So that's fine as well. It still shows the same information. And so then the dimension to the centre of the table, I'm not a big fan of dimensioning furniture, so I would prefer to have the room dimensioned. And then if you really need to, you can dimension the furniture separately, but I think having the room measurements makes it clear anyway. It's always good, even though it's not shown in the drawing here, it's good to show internal wall measurements. And then you get on the sheet, that's all set up. So I'll save that one and then have a look at text.